Welcome to the Quantum Biology Collective podcast, where we break down the practical strategies of this emerging science, starting with healthy light habits and going wherever the quantum superhighway takes us.
Hi, and welcome to the Quantum Biology Collective podcast. I am your host, Meredith Oak. And today we have a special episode. It's going to be a two-parter. And it's hard to believe, but we are coming up on 1 year since this podcast launched. And I wanted to say thank you so much to all of you who are listening, who are watching, who send us messages on social media, who email in with requests and questions. We appreciate you so much. We started this just as a little niche experiment for our community, and it has really grown. We're on track to be downloaded 100,000 times in our first year. So we should hit that milestone by the end of 2023. And it's because of you and your insatiable curiosity to learn alongside with me and all of the wonderful guests that I have on this show. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you to my team, Christy, Kathleen, and Romer. Couldn't do this without you. And also the team at Hivecast. It is because of them that I publish an episode every week. Without Hivecast, it would be a little more random. I can promise you that. I am not known for my organizational skills. Okay, so what we're going to do to celebrate is we're going to do a top 10 countdown of the most downloaded podcasts since we launched. Okay, so I've made this list based on the download numbers. It's not totally in order because I think it made more sense to sort of group things together in specific ways. But I'm going to go through your favorite top 10 episodes. And if there's anyone that you missed, I highly recommend going back and watching it. So I'm going to go through numbers 10 through 6 today. Next week, I'll do numbers 5 through 1, and we will link to each episode in the show notes. All right. So the top 10 most downloaded Quantum Biology Collective podcast episodes of the year. Number 10 is episode number 32 with Dr. Max Goulhane on why light is the key to regenerative health. This is a fabulous podcast to get a general overall view of why light matters to health so much. Dr. Goulhane is a practicing physician in Australia who went deep into the circadian science and the quantum biology science and has come to understand that people really need a framework to understand why some light is good and some light is bad, in the same way that we understand why some food is good and some food is bad. So this is an excellent episode to recommend to somebody who's making fun of you for wearing blue blockers or is just trying to understand this whole light thing and is like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Dr. Goulhane does a really nice job of giving an overview and giving us a framework to understand why we need to think about light when we think about health. Number 9 on our countdown is episode number 49, Nutritional Light Technology with Ceder. You all loved this episode and went crazy for it. Ken heard from so many of you who reached out to him and who bought his products. And the reason that Ken is so popular is because he makes a light box to treat seasonal affective disorder, right? Now, what is special about that? There's like a bajillion light boxes on the market. Ken actually really understands the science of sunlight and why sunlight is so important. And in fact, he himself says, the light box, including his own, is second to the natural sunlight. And that should always be your first option, especially first thing in the morning. You really want to go outside and get that morning light. He spends the first part of the podcast talking about that. However, he understands and recognizes that some people can't be outside all day. So he has created this product and he's spent decades refining it with some of the pioneers in the field to come out with a light that as closely mimics the sun as possible. And he goes into the details of how he does that and why it's so much better than regular light bulbs or even other light therapy devices. So that is episode number 49, Nutritional Light Technology with Ceder. All of these are going to be listed in the show notes. So if you hear me talk about one that you haven't heard or you want to go back and listen to again, just jump in the show notes and click the link. A nice partner to that, which didn't make our top 10, but if you do want to go dig more into lights, we also have episode 47, Circadian Friendly Light Bulbs with Daniel Ebbett. And he makes light bulbs that they're not light therapy bulbs. They're just lights so that you can see around the house, and really amazing little red reading lights to use before bed. And he makes circadian friendly lighting, which is super important as well. Okay, da da da. Number 8 on the countdown, episode number 46, The Quantum Secrets of Bees with Amber Hargroder. This was just a magical episode. Amber is at a moment in life where she had done a big, long internship learning about bee-centric beekeeping. And then she came and studied quantum biology. And she just has a beautiful mind that started making all kinds of connections. And she walked us through the connections that she made between beehives and quantum biology and humans and how we live our lives. And it was just a lovely, lovely episode. And I highly recommend, if you want something just to make you feel happy about the world, go listen to The Quantum Secrets of Bees. It was delightful. All right, number 7 on the countdown, episode number 44, How to Feel Truth in Your Body, a conversation with Perri Chase. So this conversation was a little outside of a lot of what the other episodes have covered in terms of looking at light and quantum biology, because we really talked about the human experience and what the journey is like to recognize truth in our lives, our own personal truths, what's true for us, what do I need to be happy, what do I need to do to be of service in the world, and also recognizing objective truths that don't fit into a paradigm, such as, light mattering to health just as much as, say, food or other things like that. So when something comes along that breaks our paradigm, it can be very hard to know, like, is this true? And so Perri and I had a really lovely conversation about getting in touch with ourselves and our bodies and learning to understand how to recognize truth in a world that's so filled with mixed messages and so much confusion. And I do recommend that, because if you're listening to this podcast, you're pretty far out. You're pretty far out on the edge of things, and probably, have a different perspective than a lot of your friends and neighbors and a lot of the things that come through mainstream channels. So this conversation with Perri is just really lovely, because it's a reminder that we can trust ourselves, and we can trust ourselves to learn new truths and find new things, and what it feels like to resonate when we do find something that is true, even if it's not popular. All right. Number 6. This is our last one today. This is our last one in the countdown today. Next week, we'll do 5 through 1. Number 6 in our top 10 countdown of the most downloaded Quantum Biology Collective podcast episodes of 2023. Number 6 is Erwan le Corre, episode number 39, Hold Your Breath, Extend Your Life. So Erwan le Corre is a fitness legend. He founded MoveNat, which trains practitioners all over the world to help people with natural movement and how to use their bodies and how to exercise outside. And so because of all that work, he has a profound understanding of the importance of connecting with nature. He recommends, doing the MoveNat outside barefoot. And he has since then extended his pursuits into breath hold work. So he talks about holding your breath, not just learning to breathe, but learning to hold your breath, basically as a spiritual exercise. And he explains in great detail how it can change not just your physiology, why holding your breath isn't just healthy for you physically, but the spiritual and mental and psychological effects of going through a training around not breathing for fairly prolonged periods of time. So I think Erwan even holds a record in that area, and he held his breath for something like 7 minutes. Which he was disappointed with. He's like, I could have gone longer, but it was really, really cold. So my body used up energy staying warm. But These are just a few of the amazing people that I've had the privilege and honor of speaking to. Again, all of the links are in the show notes. Please go check out these episodes. And I thank you so much for being with us on this podcast. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you next week.
This has been the Quantum Biology Collective podcast. To find a practitioner who practices from this point of view, visit our directory at quantumbiologycollective.org. If you are a practitioner, definitely take a look at the Applied Quantum Biology Certification, a 6-week study of the science of the new human health paradigm and its practical application with your patients and clients. We also love to feature graduates of the program on this very podcast. Until next time, the QBC.